Hey guys, happy Fire Friday. Man, I am so excited for today. And on Fire Fridays, by the way, we talk about agent attraction and revenue share unashamedly. This is the best way to build your future in real estate on the eXp Realty platform. Not only the best compensation package and plan in the industry, but also all the tools and everything you need to build an awesome real estate sales business and succeed at the highest level, serve your clients at the highest level, and do it in a way that does not suck all of the joy out of your life and all of the time off of your calendar, but at the same time, building your future through the revenue share platform and, of course, adding some stock into your portfolio at the same time. So, on Fridays, we get some of the best of the best and the brightest, the coolest, and the most fun to join us and hang out and talk about revenue share and what we're doing. And case in point, I have one of the coolest and the most fun all wrapped into one ball of awesomeness, Mr. Russ Laggan, who is not only a very, very good friend of mine, one of my favorite humans, but also happens to be the vice president of growth for the US West for eXp Realty. He is part of the secret sauce behind eXp Realty's explosive growth and success out there. And his job, I'm going to put words in your mouth,
Oh,
is
bring it.
to help eXp agents build wealth through revenue share. Right. So expand their business and understand how all of that works, how it ties in with productivity, and how to have the conversations, and then to also help, kind of negotiate and talk on EXP's behalf when it comes to bringing in agents and teams and brokerages and all that kind of stuff. He's been in the trenches doing this at multiple different companies. Everyone keeps stealing him. And I stole you one day from a great job at a big company out there to come do this, and you have just been killing it ever since. So, Russ, my brother, thank you for being here, man.
Well, thank you very much. I think I'm officially unstealable. People don't
Yes.
even, people don't even call me anymore.
Good.
Like I think they just figure I'm all in and I'm not going anywhere. And it's either they don't have the cojones to make the call or they just gave up and they're like, Russ is all in, man. He's not going anywhere.
I may
And
have
I'm
threat-
not like,
I may have
why?
threatened them. It's possible.
What
Hands
would I
off.
want to do? Go to number two
Right, exactly.
or go to number
Exactly.
three or four or five, right?
Who does number two work for? All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So no, it's
Go.
it's awesome. It's awesome. So, first of all, Russ, tell us a little bit about you. Like everyone's like, all right, cool. A lot of people know you, but some people might not. Some of the people from other companies watching this and kind of curious about what the heck is going on over there. Why does everyone keep moving over to EXP? Who's Russ Laggan? What have you been doing?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, good Lord, man. I just turned 53 this year, and I think I have a less idea of what I want to be when I grow up. Like, do you ever figure it out? I don't even know. I'll have to ask somebody that's like 100. Do you ever figure it out? Yeah, just becoming I think right now I'm becoming the best me. And the best me is always in a spot where, like, identifying what do you love?
Yeah.
Like, what do I love? And the more clear I got on what I love, then the more I got clear on what I wanted to do that allowed me to do more of what I love. So like every day for a year, I write in my little notebook here, and at the in the top corner is like here's a date and here's a number, and it's like on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy was I today?
Mm,
And then I start looking and like, and then what are a couple of things that you enjoyed, right? And I started to notice week after week after week after week after week, the like I really enjoyed helping other people be successful,
hmm.
my favorite thing in the world. So I'm like, well, why don't I do this intentionally? Right. So that's the shift I am is, my job is to help you be more successful. And I just dig it, man. It's a ton of fun.
That's so cool. I love that. I love that idea. Seriously, I'm tracking every day on a scale of 1 to 10 how happy
Yeah.
you are. And are you,
Yeah.
if you write in there some of the stuff you did that day,
Yeah. You start to see a
and
pattern. You see a
yeah,
trend. Yeah.
I was
Like a
happy
lot
when
of
I did
people.
this, unhappy when I did this.
Yeah. I stood in front of a big room of people. I'm like, how do you quantify happiness? It's kind of mushy, right? Like
Yeah,
grab yourself a handful of Jello. Let's go. Right?
right.
Like the harder you squeeze, the faster it squirts out, right? So it's like it's this weird thing, but you can look back and say on a scale of 1 to 10, let's measure it on a scale of 1 to 10 and just like track it, right? By the way, I read the book Happiness Advantage. I didn't learn this, like I made that one up myself because I was
Mhm.
like, well, how do you figure this out? Like, are you happy? Well, happy's super, super freaking weird because you could be just destroyed for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then go right back to happy. You can be really happy and then have, like you can't let other things from the outside affect what you're doing, right? So like my mantra is happy, healthy, wealthy, wise. It's always happy first. It's like, how do
Mhm.
we quantify that? And man, it's funny because you start talking to people about this and they're like, well, Russ, what you're really going for is you're really going for, like, shut up. I call this thing happy. Like, I enjoy this life. That's what I call happy. You can name it whatever you want, but it's that the enjoyment of the process of being who you are and doing what you do. Right. I
Yeah,
mean, I literally have it tattooed down my forearm.
I love that. I love that.
Right.
That's part of the
Happy, healthy, wealthy, wise. Yeah.
There you go. And that's part of the cognitive development of maturing because like you think about the kids, little
Yeah.
kids, like we get to watch our nieces, right? And they're 2 and 4 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
And especially the 2 year old, she goes from like, doesn't get what she wants, something, whatever, and it's immediate like scream, like crying, life is over, kind of a thing. And then you're
Yeah.
like, would you like this? And they're like, and like there's still tears coming. The tears are still dripping from the sobbing they were doing, but now they're laughing. Like they
Yeah.
instant turnaround
Yeah.
because it's situational. Whatever is out in front of them is impacting their emotions. But as we
Yeah.
mature, we understand we can control those from within. It doesn't have to be from without,
Well,
right?
I would like to submit that adults are getting worse at handling that now than they were. Right?
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah.
It's a skill that's lost.
Well, I think in the past, if you were upset, you're upset, right? And you figure out a way to work through it. Now, if you're upset, you go on freaking social media and tell everybody how upset you are. And they try to,
Absolutely.
and then they get people to rally behind them to reinforce that, yeah, you know what? Hell yeah, you should be upset.
Yeah.
Like the last thing you want to do to get out of being upset is have a bunch of people telling you how you're justified in being upset, right? I'm
Yeah.
not saying there are times to be upset, but I'm simply saying, like, I said this to, it's on a podcast. One was, it was a week or two ago. And I said, listen, man, if you step in a pile of dog crap, what do? You wipe it off and you keep on moving. You don't lay down and roll in it and whine and shoot social media photos of it. Like, yeah, I mean, sometimes you step in a pile, right? It's like the deal is like now you just gotta pick yourself back up and let's go.
Yeah.
It doesn't serve you to be broken by simple things, right?
Yeah. 100%. I love that. And I've also found that anybody, right? We get into the real estate business. A part of the reason people get into the real estate business, in addition to the freedom, right? The kind of less
Yeah,
restraints, be your own boss,
yeah,
unlimited earning opportunity, some
yeah,
flexibility, and all that kind of stuff is another commonality is a kind of a desire to serve others, to help others, right? The whole idea of selling
everything.
real estate is helping people achieve their goals in real estate, buying and selling a home.
Yeah,
Then it's in between you're making contributions by helping them find a plumber or an electrician or talking to them about the cool stuff going on in the community and giving
yeah,
back to the local community and all that kind of stuff. So it's all about serving others. One of the coolest things, and this is how Gene Frederick got me to see things differently about the EXP platform, because he and I spent a long time recruiting to another company. And he said, Dave, we could help people one at a time before, right? And we could bring
yeah,
them into a platform that was good. It had good education, good comp structure, and that kind of stuff, right? I mean, in general, it was a very good company, and I think they were a really good part of the evolution of the real estate industry as far as opportunity for real estate agents.
yeah,
But he said, there's never been a platform that helps agents the way that this platform does, that creates a true opportunity to build wealth, retire with dignity, and all that kind of stuff. He's like,
yeah,
you can help people on this platform like never before. And I'm not in sales anymore. It's been a really long time. So I'm not helping buyers and sellers. I'm helping agents. And so when I found another opportunity where I could help agents at a bigger scale and give them more than I could give them before,
yeah.
I couldn't not be here,
Right,
right?
right.
So the last piece of that is that EXP opens that opportunity so that every agent, if you like serving people and helping them succeed, you can now do that on the EXP platform
Yeah,
through revenue share,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I
So
think I think the a couple of things that are important is like number one, you got to start enjoying the process.
yeah,
Man, it's like I think, in my younger years, it was always like I'm trying to get something done. So like even now, like when I build a bass guitar, that's
yeah,
a small hobby that got out of control. Uh, Enjoying the process and enjoying the sanding the fingerboard to the right radius and enjoying the doing the detail and enjoying each individual step and being in the moment versus just trying to get it done. So many times when so many things in life are the All of it's like, I'll be happy when I
Hmm.
complete this. I'll happy. Like, no, dude, like you got to be happy now. Because
Yeah.
when you do that, you'll have a moment of joy and a moment of excitement. But man, that goes away super fast. Like if you're a real estate agent and you're only going to be happy when you have a closing, you're in for a shitty life.
Hmm.
Like if you have 50 closings a year, that means you've got what, 200 180 other working days that you don't have success, or
Right.
170 other working, 220 working days in a year with 50 closings. You you got 170 days that you don't have a closing. So do those days suck? So the issue really becomes for a lot of people is like they don't have enough fast enough, consistently enough to be able to
Hmm.
get into that groove where they can relax.
Yeah.
So having other ways of generating income in the process of just doing the trading time for money selling houses makes a big difference in a lot of people's lives. An extra $1,500, $3,000 a month for most people is a game changer, life changer, world
Yeah.
changer.
Absolutely.
Think about, Dave, if I could just eliminate your house payment. By the way, just in the course of you doing normal, like here's my buckets from a conversation I just had. Like here's your bucket. You trade time for money selling houses, right? That's your money bucket. And with most real estate agents, that's their only money bucket. In the ecosystem we live in, people also equals cash. It's another money bucket.
Hmm.
So what happens is a lot of people get messed up in this, Dave, and I hear a lot of people saying this, and I try to get people to stop saying this. Like, well, you could come over here and you could build a rev share organization, and everybody's like, well, I don't want to be a recruiter.
Yeah.
Or they come over and they're like, I don't know how to build this into my life and build this into my business.
Hmm.
So what they'll be taught then is a lot of times they'll say, well, Russ, what you need to do is you just need to take 20% of your time, just 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday, take 20% of your time and divert that to agent attraction. And most of the real estate agents we're talking to are in the struggle bus because right now they're saying, well, I'm 100% on this now, and I'm generating 100 grand a year doing this. If they're lucky, right? National average is 52, 54, depending on who you ask, right?
Right.
So wait a minute. So what you're saying is you want me to divert. So this is actually at 54,000 a year. And what you're saying is you want me to divert 20% of my time, which means this is going to go down by what? 10, which means I'm going to have 44 here. Am I going to be plus 10 over here?
Right. And how
And
soon?
like, I can't, the math doesn't work. The math is not mathing, right? I need to spend 100% of my time on this because, by the way, these are $10,000 checks. And I'm not saying don't do this. I'm just simply saying, let me shift the way your brain looks at this. So instead of saying separate business, separate bucket, I want you to not look at this as a separate business, separate bucket. I want you to put this bucket under here, right? Same bucket, just a different location for the same bucket. But with that goes a mindset shift. I want you to focus 100% on selling houses. And by the way, in the course of selling houses, you're going to bump into these little stick figures we call realtors, right? Look at that. It's a realtor. Okay. In the process of selling houses, you get one listing, Dave. You've got the co-op agent on the other side of the deal. You've got all of the agents that showed the property. You've got the
Hmm.
mortgage person, the title person, the insurance person, and the inspection person. And by the way, those four people all know 200 agents each. And by the way, they know the agents that are like, man, my job sucks, my life sucks, my world sucks, my company sucks, my boss sucks. They know what sucks
Hmm.
because they're hearing about it all the time, right? So in the
Yep.
course of doing normal house sales, I say, hey, by the way, if you don't know where your next dollar's coming from, you don't know where your next deal's coming from, if you're stuck at 2 and you want to be at 20, if you're not living the life of your dreams, if you got into this business to change your world and your life, and that's not the experience you're having, we should talk.
Yeah.
And some people will put their hand up and be like, wait a minute, that sounds like me, dude. Like, yeah, I don't know where my next deal's coming from. I don't know when my next closing's coming from. When I was originally brand new in the real estate business, my wife would be like, well, how'd it go? Right. And she's like, when are we gonna get a check?
Right.
It was the underlying, like, did you do something that's going to get us paid in the near future, right?
Yeah.
So you got a lot of agents get stuck in there. So last thing you want to do is get distracted from your business. But in the course of doing sales, you're going to run into a bunch of real estate agents
Hmm.
and affiliated stuff. So if you start looking at it like that, and then by the way, in addition to that, here's the other thing that helps you get to freedom. In the process of doing this, you're going to get stock whether you like it or not.
Hmm.
So Dave, I want you to be 100% focused on this. Oh yeah, and by the way, if somebody puts their hand up,
Right.
grab their hand, right? And by the way, when you sell your first house, you're going to get a stock grant. When you cap, you're going to get a stock grant. If you hit icon, you're going to get a stock grant. If you bring somebody into the company when they have their first closing, boom, you're going to get a stock grant.
Hmm.
You know what we call this? Business
Multiple streams of income.
vertical integration.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so this is exactly like McDonald's. Okay, so you ever been to a French fry joint?
I have. No.
No, you don't. No. There's no such thing
Ra-
as a French fry joint.
Rasher's French Fries, Ocean City,
Oh,
Maryland Boardwalk.
okay. There you go. Okay, so you got the little French fry hut. Yes. Okay. But so it's a hamburger joint, right? This is your hamburger. That's the hamburger joint, right? By the
Yep.
way, would you like fries with that? By the way, would you like a Coke with that?
Yep.
By the way, would you like an apple pie with that?
Yep.
Right? So in the course of doing this, you've got the other things that go along with it. And by the way, McDonald's makes more money on French fries and Cokes than they do on hamburgers because the hamburgers are complicated.
Yeah. Can I
So
supersize it?
what happens is you have these other things that are going along, and you're like, wait a minute, we should freaking have if we're selling hamburgers, we should have fries.
Mm-hmm.
It just starts to make sense when you look at it like that. Instead of saying, I've got a hamburger business, here's my building. I've got a French fry business, here's that building, and I've got a Coca-Cola business, and there's another building. Like they're not separate businesses, they're a vertical integration. This is the way most real estate agents are actually able to say, you know what, Dave, that actually that makes sense for us. I could do that. It's just a matter of shifting the way you see things.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Wow.
So that next step, that conversation, that, whatever, what are agents looking for right now? What's working? It's that those, when you want them to raise their hand, people don't want to get
Yeah.
like, they don't want to get
Yeah.
everyone to like hide themselves from them
Yeah.
when they walk in the room.
Yeah. Well, so I just gave you a couple of scripts that resonate with people, right? So a lot of people call up, they're like, hey, Dave, I just want to touch base with you. How's your business? You know what my answer to that is? None of yours.
Right.
My business is none yet.
Yeah.
Right?
Nanya.
Like, why did you go call somebody and ask them how their business is? Like, call your friend up and be like, dude, how's your sex life? It's about as gross. It's almost as weird, right? Not quite, but pretty close to as weird. So we've got to start saying, like, how do humans interact? How do humans think? How do humans work, right? So instead of asking somebody direct questions about it, it's like, first thing I'm going to do, Dave, I'm never going to call anybody until I've added value first. If you add value first, then make a call, it's 1,000 times easier. We used to do this in the previous place I was working. My people would send something to them, and then they follow up and call, be like, "Hey, Dave, did you get the thing on the thing that I sent?" Which is funny because it's exactly how Chet Black says it. And I'm like, he stole my stuff, right? Did you get the thing on the thing that I sent you?
Yep.
And half the time the agent's like, I don't like, no, or didn't. Great. Would you like me to resend it to you? Is this a correct email? Great. By the way, if I bump into other stuff like this, you want me to send that to you too? Sure, right? I mean, the one that we killed with was like 27 lead generation companies that you can pay at closing.
Mm.
People are like, I want to see that one. Like, I don't
Yeah,
have to,
for
like,
sure.
that's a great list, right? So did you get the list on the lead generation companies that pay at closing? And they're like, no, yeah, I did. They're like, hey, which one did you try any of them? Did you like, by the way, this one works really, really well. We got a lot of people are saying that one they like a lot. And then people are like, wow, that's pretty cool, right? My thing you'll hear me say a million times is do a real estate market update. In my local market, I want to be the local real estate expert. And then I can call any real estate agent, hey, by the way, I sent my market update out. Did you catch that? Did you see the part where? Did you catch that we're at a 2.3 month supply of homes still here in north of Atlanta? I was just north
Mhm.
of Atlanta. I'm like, what's your supply of homes? It's 2.3. The sky is not falling northeast of Atlanta right now.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, my local neighborhood here, 1.6, 1.7 month supply of homes currently last couple months
Wow.
within my still,
Yeah.
right? You put something on the market here, boom, it's gone almost immediately still, right? So as we're going through this, like having conversation, add value first. And then if I'm going to do stuff on social media and start telling the story on social media, I want to start saying things that like resonate with other people, right? Hey,
Mm.
Dave, if you got into this business to make 100 grand a year and you don't know how to get there, you're not even close, we need to talk. We've got a tool right now that helps agents get 3.8 contracts in 6 weeks, and it's not cold calling FISBOs and expireds,
Right.
right? Hey, by the way, if you got into this business and you didn't sign up to be a telemarketer, but you keep being shamed into banging phones and making calls to strangers that you don't want to make, like if you didn't sign up to be a telemarketer and you want a way to build this business not being a telemarketer, let me know.
Yeah.
Do people put their freaking hands up for that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
If you're at 2 sales in the last 12 months and you want to be at 20, we can show you how to do that. And by the way, every single person has that at their fingertips, Dave. We got Fast Cap.
Hmm.
Fast Cap program, 3.8 contracts for the people who did the activities, 3.8 contracts per person in 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like if you don't know where your next deal is coming from, we have a solution for that. Put your hand up. We'll give you a tug, right? So it's a matter of shifting the conversation from chasing to attracting and speaking the language that somebody can say, man, that's me.
Yeah. Yeah.
If somebody can see themselves in something, they're more likely to pay attention to it. They're more likely to reach out for it. And over time, they're going to get the message over and over and over. So we can help you. We can help you. We can help you. Not look at me, how great I am. Look at us, how great we are. Because so much of marketing is like, hey, we're number one. Did you know we closed 511,000 transactions last year? And the agent's like, who gives a shit? I just need to close five, dude. Five would be a life changer for my family.
Yeah.
10 would be boom.
Yeah.
10 at 10 grand a pop. That's $100,000 goal. Dave, you've interviewed some agents, yeah?
Couple.
Okay. When you ask them how much money you want to make, what do they say? Almost every time.
$100,000.
100 grand, 100 grand, 100 grand, 100 grand,
Yep.
100 grand. Dude, I've done this. I've done this thousands of times. Okay. 100 grand, 100 grand. One time I had a lady, she's like 40,000. I'm like, what the heck is that? I was like, what? Like 40? Like of all the freaking weird ass numbers to pull out, 40 is not like never thought 40, right? And I say, okay, cool. Explain to me why 40. And she's like, oh, well, my husband makes good money, and he told me that any money I make from real estate sales, I can use on buying stuff and vacations for the family. And I was like,
There you go.
40 grand for family vacations? That's a hell of a, I love that life,
Yeah.
right?
Go.
Okay, so but other than that, everybody else said 100. And here's the thing: I know on average, real estate agents across the country are 54 and less. If you go median, it's a better story than average, right?
Yep.
Because you got people just blowing the average all over the place, right? So you start looking at what is the average agent really making, not what they intended to. So does that mean they're disenfranchised? Does that mean they're in love with the business? Because Dave, when I got into this business, I wanted to get my licensing. I got super excited.
Yeah.
I was like, honey, I finally have something where I can make as much money as I want. The only thing stopping me is me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then people come into the business and they're like, well, I'm stopping myself.
Right. Yeah.
I'm stopping me. Right. So they're not living the dream. I also know when somebody says 100 grand, they probably have never made more than 100 grand a year. Because if you made 500 the last 10 years, you're not going to say like, hey, Russ, I want to make 100. Like, that means they probably never made that. That also means that probably over the course of the next 10, 15, 20 years, that's going to add $2 million to their family. $2 million to their net dollars for a family is a game changer, world changer, life changer. That's the difference between putting your kids through college and having massive debts. That's the difference between having to choose everything based on dollars. Like you look at the menu and you're like, what's the price of this? You're going to be stuck on price for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
If you don't have the dollars. Once you get those kind of dollars, you can start to make choices not because of what it costs, but because of what you want in life. What experience did you want to have? Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
Now you have a direct output to an input.
Yeah.
Kind of a wild way of looking at business.
Yeah, that's the freedom. I've always said my definition of freedom, the financial freedom, is being able to make the decisions that I want to make without first having to check my bank account for permission.
Yes.
Right?
Remember when you were a kid? You're like, I want to go here. Hey, mom, can I go to blah, blah, blah? And she's like, how much?
Yep.
Whatever. Everything's like, mom was the governor, right?
That's right. That's right.
You didn't ask dad. You know what my dad used to say?
Ask your mother.
No. No, my dad's like, well, go rake some leaves then. Go mow some lawns. Go shovel some snow. So like we were raking leaves and shoveling snow and delivering newspapers. And by the way, in Michigan.
Ooh.
Yeah, half the year it sucks.
Did a lot of snow shoveling though, so that's good.
A lot of snow shoveling, a lot of leaf raking, and a lot of lawn mowing, and a lot of newspaper deliveries. Yeah, so but I think a lot of people are expecting somebody to hand something to them, and I think gone are the days when you're like, man, when you're old enough to mow the lawn, you're mowing the lawn. My dad's not mowing the lawn; he has 4 boys. Basically, he's got four lawnmowers.
Yeah.
And by the way, we were begging to mow the lawn.
Smart. That's smart. So, all right. So let's talk about this. Because that process right there, that vertical integration, hopefully is resonating with everybody, right? It makes perfect sense. It's built into what you're already doing. You're not shifting gears. I always tell people when you're riding an 18 speed or whatever bike, when you go to change gears, you don't get off, take the chain off, move it to the next gear, get back on and start again. You flip the switch and it kicks to the next gear. So you got to get that you're turning to the point where it's easy to shift it to the next gear, right? So it's all built in to what you're doing. You're just adding to it, and it's accelerating what you're doing. So you got your vertical integration, makes total sense. Those are the conversations you have. Hopefully, all right, for some people, you go, okay, that makes sense. I can have those conversations. One of the other things we add on to make it easy, where you're not doing the cold calls and not trying to like, let me talk about your business, right? Is the reason we call this agent attraction. People say, I don't want to recruit. And we're like,
Yeah.
cool, because over here, I don't mind recruiting. I don't think recruiting is a dirty word. I love to recruit. To me, that's like it's lead generation. It's prospecting versus, passive,
It's business
whatever.
building.
Yeah. So
In
that's
the real estate business, you need people to build business. Like we're business building. We need
yep.
people for that.
If you like it and you know how to do it, go do it. If you don't like it though, right? The point is that not everyone's out there pounding the phones and harassing people and trying to recruit them all. We call it agent attraction because there are things you can do that make you, I don't know, followable. I heard that.
Oh, here it comes.
Right? So this is super key because I always tell people, you don't want to be a secret agent. You don't want the
Yeah.
consumer, you don't want buyers and sellers to like, I've heard it said that your success in real estate is directly proportional to the number of people that when they think of real estate, they think of you, right?
Yeah. Agreed.
So the opportunity is when people know that you are in a good place and that you have access to great tools and resources, you're happy with the way your business is going, your business is growing, and you have connections to people and resources and that sort of thing that can help them succeed. If they're aware of that
Yeah.
when they're seeking something different, when they get frustrated with not being able to get above the 56K or whatever, they're not getting to their six-figure income, they're not building their wealth, they're not even paying their bills, etc. And they start to go, I might need, like, maybe it's not just me, you know?
You- Dave, you're
Yeah.
gonna go to Rome to hang out with your daughter, right? And you're gonna go some places. And what are you gonna do? You're gonna hire a freaking tour guide. Like
Yep.
I have no idea where. Like get a tour guide, right? We were in India. My brother got married in India December last year.
Yes.
I was
Pictures
in
are
India for
amazing.
2 weeks. Wild trip, right? And as soon as we got past the wedding part of the stuff, we had like 9 days of touring. Like we went a bunch of miles through India, right?
Yeah.
Amazing, 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 everything.
Yeah.
But
Pictures were incredible. I remember seeing them.
like literally
Yeah.
jumped off the train and we jumped into a small van with a tour guide. We had somebody that knew where he was, knew what he was doing, knew where we could eat, you know,
Hmm.
knew where we shouldn't go, knew where
Right.
we should, and took us to and got us to places we never would have gone. It's the same thing with the real estate business. Like if you don't know where you're going, get a freaking tour guide.
Yeah.
If you don't have an active tour guide helping you get to where you want to go, you're missing the boat, right? Because by the way, there's tons of people out there that are willing to help you.
Yeah. And if you
You're not
have,
alone.
yeah. And if you have the information, if you have the stuff, right, you don't have to, if you're an agent, I don't have to call you and say, hey, Russ, I've got all this cool stuff. Are you interested? Like, how's your business going? Are you looking to be more successful? Are you making it up? Because if some agent calls me and, they're another business person and I'm a business person, and they call me and say, hey, is your business floundering? Are you failing? Are you not making enough money? I'm like, I'm not giving you that information, right?
Hey,
So
do you suck?
you suck. Yes, I'm horrible.
As a
Right?
matter of fact,
Miserably. Don't tell anyone. I'm a horrible agent. Right. So, like, that's not the case. However, I'm over here secretly, like, putting on the face that I'm doing great. And meanwhile, I'm worried about paying my bills. And I see you over there, your business, you moved from my company over to EXP, and you start selling houses. I start seeing your listings out there. I start seeing other things. I start seeing you talk about closing deals. I see you hanging out with people. I see you in training classes and masterminds and learning to grow your business and doing all this cool stuff. And I'm like, man, that looks awesome. Right. Then I go, hey, I call it the when Harry met Sally moment. I'll have what she's having, right? But if you've seen the movie, you know the scene, right? So, but that's the thing. Like, I look over there and go, that looks good over there. I want some of that. How do I get that? Well, who am I going to call? I'm going to call you because you're my friend. You're someone I know from my company or from my local market. And I see it and I'm going to call you and ask about it and be like, hey, can I go to one of these or can I look at this or I'm thinking about making a move. But they won't do that if they don't see it.
yes,
If you don't put that out there, there's a lot of people that don't put things out there.
you got to tell the story. You
Yeah.
got to tell the
He
story.
knows.
There's a reason McDonald's has golden arches outside of every one of their McDonald's.
Yeah.
There's a reason they got a big word about calls about hamburgers, right? Because you know
Yep.
what that is, right? I mean, it's one of the most recognizable brands in the world, beside Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who Coca-Cola is, right? So, like, you've got to start to find to be like, uh, Dave. I've had a lot of people ask me, it's like, how do I get to more people? Like, you don't. How do you get more people to come to you? You've got to be like, first off, like, let's open up some time.
Hmm.
Okay. Open up some time and space in my schedule. Chapter one. Let's figure out what are we supposed to be working on the right stuff, not the wrong stuff, working on your business versus in your business. And then number three is like, let's dig into like, how am I motivated? And how do I motivate people around me so that I can get things moving in the right direction? Do you need a hug or do you need a kick in the ass?
Hmm.
Sometimes you need a hug with a kick in the ass.
Right. Right.
Got to have flexible hips for that, right?
Right.
So then you get into the mindset. It's like, where's my brain at? Okay, I got some time now. I can sit down. Like, where's my brain at? What am I thinking about? What am I focused on? What am I driving at? What if I can do what I want to do? What if I
Hmm.
could create the world? What if I actually had a plan to get to 100K?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you start going, okay, five. Like, how do I lean into being the best me?
Yeah. So,
Everybody's like, well, Russ, how do I attract people? Like, become attractive, right? Like, how do you attract people? Be followable. Like,
yeah.
it starts with me. So, what are the things that you need to do to make you the best you so that other people say, that's what I want in my life? I want to do that. Like, I'd like that guy as my tour guide. That guy did the coolest show. Like, did you see that show with that guy touring around Rome? He went to some of the coolest stuff. By the way, the crypts in Paris, probably some of the
Yeah.
coolest crypts you'll ever see. Most
Yeah.
people don't know about it, right?
Yeah.
By the way, they have crypts down in Nice also. Nice.
Yes.
Go down there, crypts down in Nice, right? So like you get somebody that's been there and is like, hey, if you like creepy, weird stuff that's mind-boggling,
Right.
uh, yeah, sure, cool, right?
Get
So
into the catacombs.
start to throw up the flags on those things, right? And then once you get there, then learning how to have the conversation, learning how to have the right conversation. You just flashed the book, right? On the cover of that book, Be Followable, that cover, that is the recipe right there. Turn that sideways. Where are you now? Where do you want to be? How are you going to get there?
Yeah.
A, R, where are you? B, where do you want to be? How are you going to get there? You make it 100% about them. When you make it 100% about them, guess what? They tend to really like you a lot.
Yeah. It's a
Have you
classic
ever,
gap analysis.
yeah, have you ever heard me tell the story of my wife Dana? If you meet my wife Dana, everybody freaking loves my wife Dana. She is one of the most amazing humans you will ever meet. If you sit down, hang out at a party, she's not a big party, a lot of people party person.
Hmm.
She's more of a one-on-one person, but she starts talking to you. You get one-on-one with her every single time. Person will come over to me. Oh my God, your wife is amazing.
Hmm.
And if I had no tact, I would ask them this question. Tell me two things you know about my wife.
Yeah. Right? Because they would have
They
nothing.
have no idea. She's super nice and she's really pretty.
Right.
Yes, great. What do you actually know about? Because
Yeah.
she'll ask you, she genuinely is interested in people.
Yeah.
She's very, very interested in people. And she'll ask you questions and she'll ask you follow-up questions. It's like very engaging. And she makes you feel like she actually gives a shit.
Yeah.
And when you do that with other people, that's how humans work, right? We get into an engage, like think about it like this. Listing appointment. Where are you now? Where do you want to be? How are we going to get there?
Hmm.
Working with a buyer. Where are you at now? Apartment. Where do you want to be? House. How are you going to get there?
Yep.
Dating. Where are you now? Hey, Dave, tell me a little about yourself. Where are you at now? It's like, what do you want your life to look like? Where do you want it to go?
Yeah.
Because I want to say, like, where is he now? Well, he's broke, dumb, and stupid. Well, we can fix broke.
Right.
Okay. So like we got to figure out like is there a place for me in this? Like if you tell me where you are now and where you want to go, and you're like where do I fit in this, right? A
Yeah.
lot of people say, well, your job is to narrow the gap and to build the bridge between those two. And I'm like, no, the job is to stretch that gap out and make it so that they think the only way they can get there is with you.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, let's broaden this gap. It's like, let's get really clear. It's like, do you think you're better off with me or without me on your side? Hey, by the way, do you think you're going to live a better life if you're married to me or not? It's no different than finding a significant other, right? Why do people get dogs?
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because that's we talk about pain points right? And finding the pain point. And I used to always say that, your job is to find the wound and
Yeah.
lovingly rub salt in it,
Yeah.
right? Because they have to feel the pain. We numb ourselves and we fool ourselves into believing that everything's fine. And it's not. They're going like, because they just go, yeah. And I go, cool. So what are your plans? And have you ever seen Monty Python, The Holy Grail?
Yes.
Okay. It's a vague reference, but they made the what Trojan rabbit, I think they made, or something like that, right? So then they make this thing in the woods and then they roll it up to the castle, and then the
Yeah.
castle they pull it in there, and then they run back into the woods, and they're in the woods, and they're like, all right, now what? And the guy says, okay, then we wait and then till night, and then we jump out of the rabbit, and
You're
they're
like,
all like, like, you're not like, oh, we forgot that thing. Like, we didn't realize we're not going to be able to achieve our goals. So many people are, they're still talking about what they're going to do. And then we're going to buy a vacation home and I'm going to retire at this and we're going to travel and we're going to whatever. And I'm like, I'm looking at how much they're producing and going, did your parents leave you a lot of money? Do you have some other, does your spouse make a ton of money? Because I'm looking at what you've been producing. You're barely making enough to pay your bills. I know you've got 4 kids, college, weddings, whatever, all of those things. I don't know how you're paying your bills, let alone saving for this grand retirement and all these plans you have and getting a vacation home. They're still talking about them as if they're going to happen, but what they're doing right now isn't going to get them there. And they're
yeah.
going to be disappointed or in trouble financially down the road. And they're not, they're really not paying attention, right? Or they're just fooling themselves.
And
That's
there's a
good.
lot of that. There's a lot of that denial too, right? It's just like, I know it's not right, but I don't know what to do about it. So I'm just going to ignore it as much as I can, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, by the way, that monster's coming, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Yeah. So part of what we get to do is to show, like, to either wake them up or show them that it is actually possible. But if we minimize the gap, we minimize
Yeah.
the pain,
Yeah.
right? Then they don't feel that the pain of staying where you are has to become bigger than the pain of making a move. And you have to feel that. You have to go, oh my gosh, if I stay here, I'm not gonna get that life, right? I'm not
Yeah.
going to get where I want to go. Where I want to be and who I want to be. I'm never going to get there in the vehicle that I'm in right now.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I got to get out of this vehicle. I got to find the right vehicle that's going to get me from my A to my B.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I think the biggest challenge in our industry is we've got so much of the BS out there that's just a misdirection on what they're supposed to be doing and working on. And I think there's a component of it of are you willing to you got to find your recipe, right? Are you willing to, man, like the first year I was in business, it was all the same stuff. It's like, here's your list. Start calling your FISBOs. I'm like, I didn't sign up for this. Here's your list. Start calling your expires. I'm like, I didn't sign up for this. Hey,
Yeah.
by the way, we're going door knocking. I'm like, I live in Detroit, man. Knock, knock. Who's there? Seriously? Like, what? Okay, so we've got to find you've got to find your thing and your recipe, right? So you've got to be willing to try some stuff. And that's why looking around and seeing other people doing. So when I was in the office in 2006 and 7, I had a young lady named Mari Mendez. She had 4 girls. Husband was a military guy. She had 4 girls under the age of 11 at that point, or under the age of 10. And she's like, "Where did you get that deal from?" I was like, "Mountain biking." "Where did you get that deal from?" "Mountain biking." "Where'd you get that deal from?" Almost all my deals are from mountain biking.
Huh.
It's like, why don't I mountain bike more? And
Yeah.
then, by the way, I found out that the Swamp Mountain Biking Club outside of Tampa has 700 members. 700 weirdos that are weird, just like me, right? They like to get done of like, if you don't got you don't, if you're not scratched up, bleeding a little bit and bruised and covered with mud, you didn't do it right.
Yep.
Sit on the tailgate of the truck and let's drink a beer and compare war wounds. Like you get out the road bikers when they wipe out, they don't go into the parking lot and compare notes and laugh at each other drinking a beer. They go to the hospital,
Right.
right? They got their feelings hurt, spandex ripped off of them, nobody's celebrating wiping out on a road bike, right?
Right.
So you've got to find your unique weird that's you, and then say, how do I lean into my business doing the things that are weird? Like for you, Dave, you're Mr. Pickleball. Like, are you Chief Picklehead now? Is
Yes.
it like okay? So
Yes.
So
Good
there's
title.
got to be a title there, CPO, picklehead officer, right? So like, you could build a whole business playing pickleball. And you're meeting
Absolutely.
people.
It's a huge community.
It's a huge community.
Yeah.
A lot of these people, it's attraction is finding the people that are weird just like you. We're all a little weird. I think for me, probably getting to my later 30s, early 40s. I think my early 40s is when I realized I was really weird. Like, I mean, I knew I was weird, but I was like, I real like leaned into
It took you that long, or?
you're freaking weird. And it's fine. I think I became okay with it,
Yeah.
right? And just lean into it and just celebrate that and just realize like, hey man, I just do everything a little different. Fine, but that's what makes me me. And I started to learn that those things that I'm a little eccentric with, those things made me me, right? By the way, I talk more about house stuff with bass players than I do basses a lot of times.
Hmm.
So they're like, oh, you're the real estate guy. And they start asking me real estate questions when I'm talking to bass guitars. And they're like, hey, how's the real estate market? I go into the place with guitars and they're like, hey, how's the market? I would go into the Iron Man store and Hunter would come out. Hunter Jewett would come out. He'd be like, dude, don't leave until you tell me what's going on in the market. You got to start doing those things. And by the way, real estate agents see other real estate agents doing what they want to do. And the ones that put their hand up is like, hey, if you want to do this, I can help you.
Hmm.
Goes right back to that circle we talked about earlier.
Yeah. I love
Talk
that.
to humans. Show them that they can live a good life and build a good life. I don't know.
So you wrote a book,
I did.
which we've shown a couple times. And the point is not to sell your books, but people should get them. Um, but you wrote, there you go. Look at that. You bought your own book.
Does this look like my type of it looks like
I'm looking at the board behind you. So
it's me and a whiteboard.
that's right. That's right. So you wrote a book called Be Followable,
Yeah.
right? Like not just what would people get out of your, you can't get through the whole thing. There's a lot of pages in here. There's a whole bunch of really good information, but like, so you got all kinds of pages. You got, almost 250 pages in here of stuff on how to be followable. But like, why does that matter?
Well, I think two things. Everybody's in leadership.
Mhm.
Everybody is in leadership. Every single person is in leadership. Starts with me,
Mhm.
leading me, right? And then go from there to then do I have a spouse, significant other? God forbid you have children.
Mm.
We talk about leadership 101. They call that parenting, right? And a lot of the people get into leadership and what leadership is about and what leaders do and how they lead and what they say and how they say it. And I'm saying, like, let's get me right first. And then once I'm right, you're going to attract the right people to you. I can't remember who said this. I've heard it a couple of times repeated. I wish I remember the first person that said it. The guy said, your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yep.
Right? Your vibe attracts your tribe. So like being able to be the best you. So like I believe chapter 5 is a white buffalo hunt,
That's all. Yeah. Love it.
right?
Yep.
It's white buffalo hunt. And funny, I'm sorry, that's happy, healthy, wealthy, wide. Six is white buffalo. Okay, so you get into like where are you at in this process, and it's like becoming cool with who you are, and
Mm.
then leaning into that who you are and celebrating that weird. Like, listen, man, you're going to be able to hang out with people that play pickleball way more than me because you've got a pickleball stuff and you got the paddles and the shoes and you're hanging out at the courts and you're building those business like everything. How many times have you said pickleball in the last year?
Oh man. Yeah. A lot.
Oh,
A lot.
way more than I have, right? I've said it in passing, joking, goof with people, but like you every day, you're like this. Like, don't ever start to do anything that has a weird word that you hate saying. Like,
Right. That's true.
some people really hate the word moist,
Yeah. Yes.
right?
Joke about that in
So
ours all the time.
yeah, so don't start moist properties because you're like,
No.
hello, moist properties. Like,
Yeah.
bleh. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's just gross, right? So like you are the sum of the people you hang out with, right? And there's a certain demographic. By the way, I learned a long time ago, the average cigar smoker makes over 100 grand a year. Right. And this is going back into like 6, 7, 8, 9. So like if I go and hang out at the cigar bar, there's a good chance that the average person in here is making over 100 grand a year, which is actually in that particular market, average person was probably at 50, 60,000. So this is almost double what the average person in that market was doing. So this is not necessarily affluent, but this is a much more affluent than the norm. So like the people that are there are in three and four and $500,000 houses up, right? So you just got to start saying like, so who are my people? Who are my tribe? And it's easier when you lean into who you really are and celebrate the quirks. I've
Yeah.
got a
Yeah.
lady named Donnie Muzzy. So Donnie, hey, if you see this, Donnie Muzzy, she's an absolute sweetheart. We had talked through some things, and she's like, I don't want to do video, Russ, because I've got this lisp. She has a unique way of talking,
Hmm.
and it's bothered her whole life. I'm like, but Donnie, that's what makes you who you are. Like that's you. Like if you walked in the room and talked normal, like what you would consider normal, that wouldn't be you. I'm
Yep.
not saying it would be bad or good. I'm just simply saying that's part of who you are. So like your people around you, they hear it.
Right.
Like lean into it, right?
Yeah.
Lean into it, right? Instead of
And by
trying
the
to
way, they still like you. They do, right? I
yes,
mean,
yes.
they
Like
enjoy
lean
you.
into
Yeah.
that makes you unique. Like for me, you could put a bag over my head and put me in the dark and have me just talk to you about anything. You'd be like, holy shit, that's Russ talking, right? There, I have a unique voice and a unique sound. And for me, like when I'm on video, like it was funny. You remember you when you hired me, I was bald.
Yeah.
Freaked everybody out when I grew
Yo,
my
no,
hair.
I can grow hair. I just chose to shave it off. I'm like, okay.
I'm not bald. I just don't have hair. I keep it really short, right? And but with that said, when I was bald head, it's like when I saw myself on video, I feel like I look like an overdressed turtle and I sound like a Muppet. So I'm like get over it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just it's that matter of leaning into the best who you are. And I think be followable. It's really hard to follow somebody that's not authentic.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really hard to follow somebody who's pretending to be something that they're not. Like for me, like you had a young guy that's came over to the house to help move some stuff and do some stuff when we were tearing out the basement, and he's like, "I thought you'd live in a bigger house. I thought you'd live in like Northville Hills or something. They're like 4 and 5 thousand square foot $1 million house." I'm like, why? Like, if I drag my anvil out of the garage in Northville Hills and start wailing on metal on a Friday night, they're going to call the cops.
Yeah.
In my neighborhood here, because we've got a little bit more space and a little bit, not big, but the neighbor will pull up a chair and a beer and
Yeah.
watch me smash metal on a Friday night, you know? So, like, for me, that's not my vibe. It's my tribe. Like, the look of wealth has never appealed to me.
Yeah.
Like I like nice stuff. I like a nice car. I like nice watches, but nice clothes. But for me, it's not about the look of the stuff. It's about like the thing of who I am. Like I dress a little different.
Mhm.
Shirt tie, like I don't have a tie on because I've got a headache, and that usually typically makes my neck hurt more. So, but yeah, shirt tie vest. Dude, there goes Russ. Like literally, I could walk into the room with a bag over my head and be like, "That's Russ."
Yep. He's got a vest
I
on.
don't even
Vest
put
and a
my
whiteboard. We're good.
whiteboard and a vest and a tie, man. I get that's Russ, right? So it's like just like becoming you. Becoming you is a superpower.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your superpower,
Yeah. That
right?
is putting yourself out there for who you are. The people who that resonates with will want to be with you because that's like them or it's what they're attracted to. I'm looking
Yeah.
for someone who's like this. Man, when you're like that, I wish I could be like that, but and I'm not, but I love hanging out with people who are like that because I get to experience it or I get to become a little bit more like that or what have you, right? And that's great. And they're looking for it.
So remember when you're like you had little girls at one point. Of course, they're all growing up now, but
Yeah.
when they were little, you're like, okay, we're going out. Mom's off doing whatever, and dad, you're like, okay, I gotta get the Conord girls dressed, and like you guys go get dressed, and she comes rolling out. She's got a freaking princess dress on with a purple hat, one blue sock, one flip flop on one foot, a high heel on it, like. She doesn't. She's like, this looks great, right? She doesn't care. She's like, this is what I felt like wearing today. And then you get into school and you realize, look, standing out is bad. You
Right.
get picked on.
Yeah.
And then when you get into middle school, you're like, they're all trying to be as vanilla as possible so they don't get picked on all the time. You don't want to stand out. You get beat down for standing out. And then you get into high school and you're kind of like starting to feel your oats a little bit. You're like, I'm going to be different. So you dress just like all the other goth people. They're different. Then you find your group of people that are different than like I'm not the jock. I'm not the band guy. I'm not, you find your own group and your own tribe, right? And then as an adult, you get into business and then like everybody's trying to smash you into like back in the day, you're like, you got to wear a suit and you got to wear a tie. You're not a business person if you're not wearing a suit and a tie.
Hmm.
Now you're like you're wearing a suit and a tie, man. Some people can get suspicious of you in a lot
Yeah.
of businesses. Southern Florida, if you're wearing a suit and a tie, you got a problem,
Right.
right?
That's right.
Short sleeve shirt, shorts, and flip flops. That's
Yeah.
how you show houses in Naples, right? So You got to get into that and feel in that flavor and that vibe and be willing to be you. Now, if you're just flat, gross, or weird, don't keep that in your house, right? But find out that flavor and start to lean into that flavor and enjoy that. Figure out what you're good at and lean into that.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
for some
it.
of you guys, by the way, for some of them, they're not good. You're not good at sales.
Yeah.
So work with somebody that's good at sales. That's why some of these teams are amazing. Like for me,
Right.
I am fantastic when I have an operations person. Me and an operations person together are a dream team. 'Cause I'm like salespeople, fun, have a good time, make stuff happen, move the ball, and I need somebody behind me cleaning up the freaking mess I'm making.
Right.
I'm like Pigpen from Peanuts. You remember him?
Oh
Little
yeah.
dude around, he's got a
Yep.
cloud of dust behind
Yep.
him. That cloud of dust is gold. It's
Yeah.
gold behind me. I need somebody back there with a vacuum and a brush and a weed
Getting it all.
clean it up. Yeah.
I'll say God made you this incredible hand carved work of art, and the world wants to run you through a planer over and over again and throw you in the pile of two by fours with everybody else.
Throw
Right.
you in a square you off
And
and throw you in
you
a pile.
and you want to avoid, you got to stay being that incredible
Yeah.
handcrafted piece of art. You don't want to be a two by four. And every time you let the world cut off all the cool parts of you, you just look like everybody else.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's like now my thing is like, I don't care. If you don't like the way I am, cool, man. Go find somebody you like. But
Yeah,
like some people, I'm the right vibe for certain people, and that's cool. Those are my people. Let's go. That's my tribe. Let's rock and roll.
I like
So
it.
have, well, that's because you're weird too.
Yes, this is a fact. Well, man, this is, I mean, gosh, the time went super fast. We're already hitting up on the end of the hour. So, I think just going through this concept for so many people, looking at the whiteboard behind you, right? The vertical integration and that concept of going, hey, like, let's take the pressure off. Put this, don't go two buckets, go one bucket all together. While you're out there having the conversations, do it. And then being uniquely yourself, putting yourself out there, and then letting people know about what you've got going on, what you have access to. If you're a newer agent, you go, hey, why would people follow me? They know more about selling real estate than I do. Sometimes it's not you, it's what you have access to. It's the relationships you have, it's the environment you could bring them into, it's the connections you can make, it's the tools you can connect them to. And just seeing what you're doing is something that'll be attractive.
Yeah, and you've got a ton of support people around you. You've got people up the hill ahead of you that you can point people at, and you've got people that are right beside you that are willing to lean in and help you out. Everybody's in an organization, right? Find that person in your organization willing to work with you and around you. And by the way, you got a whole growth team of people like myself. If you get really stuck, we can always point you in the right direction. There's nothing too big that we can't close. We've damn near seen it all.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. All right.
We've
So
seen it all up.
if people do want to get a hold of the growth team, they're out there, they've got some opportunities, they've got some other stuff. Where are we sending them?
Yeah, so you know what? I'm liking directing everybody to the growth toolkit. So it's exptoolkit.com/growth. And the reason I like that is because there's a lot of really great info in there for people that are intrigued by this and want to gather more info. And that thing is updated consistently. And then towards the bottom, there's a map that shows you who covers your states. So you can go direct to the growth person that's dedicated to your state. So it's exptoolkit.com/growth. And by the way, all of the EXP toolkits are under exptoolkits.com. So there's a growth toolkit, there's a attraction toolkit, there's the working with buyers, working with sellers, working with luxury, working with land and ranch. All of the toolkits are in one location at EXP Toolkits. And by the way, they're open to everybody.
That's all.
EXP believes in like if we got good stuff, let everybody have it. So, but
Yep.
the toolkit for EXP growth is exptoolkit.com/growth. And you can go in there and you'll see this. You'll see
Yeah,
this.
yeah. All of it's
May
there.
not have like I may or may not have licked a donut or two in that box.
So good. So good, my man. Thank you so much. And guys, check this book out, man. Be followable. Be follow. You want to, get the secret sauce and just get the process to get people to follow you.
Yeah.
Be followable, and it happens. You don't have to chase. That's awesome. Russ, my man, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Hope your head feels better. All right, buddy. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.